With Nikhil, hope you guys are doing well. Welcome back to episode 2 of Learn With Nikhil, and today's episode is inspired by one of my favorite books of all time, Ideas and Opinions by the great Albert Einstein. And upon reading this, a lot of people tell me that they're surprised by how many essays involve religion or God or the meaning of life or friendship or a bunch of other things that are unrelated to science. And it got me thinking, here's a guy that has committed himself so fully to the structure of the world, the way in which physical bodies interact with one another, and he's had one of, if not arguably the most successful career in that particular field. So it's always a treat to hear what Einstein has to say about friendship or the meaning of life or religion. And so in today's episode, I want to focus on what Albert Einstein thought about the idea of God and religion, because his answer is a little surprising, and I think you guys will enjoy it as well. Alright, so to set the stage about what Einstein actually thought, I want to read you a letter that he wrote in 1936 to a schoolgirl that asked him, "Do scientists pray? And if so, what do they pray for?" This was Einstein's response. Scientists believe that every occurrence, including the affairs of human beings, is due to the laws of nature. Therefore, a scientist cannot be inclined to believe that the course of events can be influenced by prayer, that is, by a supernaturally manifested wish. However, we must concede that our actual knowledge of these forces is imperfect, so that in the end the belief in the existence of a final, ultimate spirit rests on a kind of faith. Such belief remains widespread even with the current achievements in science. But also, everyone who is seriously involved in the pursuit of science becomes convinced that some spirit is manifest in the laws of the universe, one that is vastly superior to that of man. In this way, the pursuit of science leads to a religious feeling of a special sort, which is surely quite different from the religiosity of someone more naive. With cordial greetings, your Albert Einstein. Einstein's response is interesting to say the least, and here's what I make of it. He clearly trusts in something greater, but it is not rooted in the belief of a supernatural being or God per se. In fact, he's gone on the record to call these conceptions of an individual God as childlike or naive, and so clearly he's not about that part. But where he does seem oddly religious is in the way that he marvels at the beauty and the simplicity of the world around him. To Einstein, human beings have trouble grasping the scope and the scale of the universe. He has gone on the record to say that us trying to understand the cosmos is like a little child walking into a library and trying to read every single book on the shelf. It's a truly unfathomable task. In other words, the universe has been so marvelously arranged according to certain laws, and even with all of the advancements in science, we understand those laws very dimly. Einstein called the human mind insufficient to interpret the beauty of the universe, and that's really interesting because to him, you can use math and science to interpret how and why an apple might fall from a tree, but to understand where that force comes from and why or how it was created proves a lot more difficult. And to Einstein, that doesn't mean that there has to be a God, it just means that for the time being, we must be content with having imperfect knowledge. To him, he believes in a God that expresses itself through the harmony of all things that exist, not in a God that concerns him or herself or itself with the fate and doings of all mankind. I want to wrap up today's video with a final quote from Einstein that I think brilliantly summarizes his views that we discussed throughout today's video. The most beautiful emotion we can experience is the mystical. It is the power of all true art and science. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. To know what is impenetrable to us really exists, manifesting itself as the highest wisdom and the most radiant beauty, which our dull faculties can comprehend only in their most primitive forms. This knowledge, this feeling is at the center of true religiousness. In this sense, and in this sense only, I belong to the rank of devoutly religious men. So there you have it. Einstein may not believe in a classic or archetypal conception of God, but he is clearly religious. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so appreciative of your viewership. I hope we all learned something new in this video. This is the point of this series. New videos every single week. Stay tuned. If you liked what you saw, comment down below. Consider subscribing to me on other social media channels as well as my newsletter. And of course, I will always see you guys in the next one.